This is a first responder type position where you are out in the field making huge decisions. And if you're not committed to child safety, then it's very difficult to be able to do this job.
A lot of caseworkers, when they begin, don't really know what casework is like, and it takes a couple years to really become acclimated to it.
It's grueling, it's intense, it's often traumatic. It's also some of the most rewarding work I think anybody could ever do.
A CPS worker has a lot of responsibilities, but first and foremost, our job is to investigate reports of child abuse and ultimately to assess if children are safe or not.
How we do that is investigate families, their children, family members, people inside the community, sometimes even collaterals, all to support and make sure that children are safe.
You run into lots of families in this work that are not real happy to see you. I think you need to be able to read the situation quickly and adjust accordingly.
It's a first responder job. First responders don't have a set time. When you are on the job and there's a crisis, there is no sense of time. You are just dealing with the crisis. Deal with it until you have been able to manage the crisis before you leave and go home.
The role of a CPS worker is to complete a CPS assessment. A part of the CPS assessment is interviewing the family as well as interviewing other professionals and working with children and families to determine if child abuse has occurred and to also make sure that children can safely remain in their home. When a caseworker has to go to court, the court process can feel really intimidating and overwhelming. You have to feel comfortable presenting in front of a judge and having conversations with attorneys about legal language. And you also have to be able to have conversations with families and children who are upset and frequently angry with the department.
As a CPS worker, you're going to see a lot of traumatic situations. You're going to see situations like a 10-year-old being sexually abused by her dad. You are going to see a 5-year-old who's hungry and hasn't eaten in 2 days. You're going to see a baby with bruises all over their bodies. But seeing those things, again, just helps you reassure that your job is to make sure that they're safe.
So there's a lot of things you can learn on the job. And the one thing, if I had to pick a single thing that people need to walk in the door ready to do, they have to be ready to move into a team environment, stay humble, and learn from the people around them.
When I talk about teamwork, it's not only internal, but also external. It takes an effort by the community, foster parents, getting other programs or agencies involved to help support the work that we do and help us keep kids safe. It literally takes a village to make sure that all these kids in our community stay safe.
When working with diverse populations, they may have cultural practices that are different than yours, and that doesn't necessarily mean that their children are being abused or unsafe. So as a CPS worker, it's really important to recognize what is a cultural practice versus what is a difference in parenting style, and being able to assess child safety within the framework of that cultural practice.
It's important for new workers and anybody doing the CPS work to understand that abuse and neglect happen in rich and poor homes. So go there with the same mindset that you will have for everybody.
Being a CPS worker is a difficult job, and it requires the ability to become an expert in a lot of things. And a caseworker needs to be able to be willing to take on new challenges and also know when to ask for help. Ultimately, it is one of the most rewarding jobs, and that's why people stay, but it is a very demanding job.
Being able to blast the music on your way home and sing and dance in the car, just making also a very conscious choice to leave work at work.
The connection that you have with people, especially with children that you work with, is so uplifting to the spirit and the soul, and I challenge you to try it.
You make a huge difference by bringing compassion to the work and being able to listen to people's concerns and ultimately make sure that kids are where they need to be in order to be safe.
In the end, my job is to make sure kids are safe, and I know that's what I'm doing.
Changing lives all the time, and some opportunities to work with some great families and really find a way to bring them forward so that they can parent the way that they really want to parent.